Metric, KPI, KPM, and OKR. You will hear these terms whichever company you go to. So I believe these are the terms every analyst must know, so you are all set when someone mentions these terms to you. By end of this video, you will not only know exactly what each one means, you will also be able to explain them to someone else. Let's start with the most common term used in data analytics, which is called metric. A metric is just a number you can measure or calculate. Think of a metric like the numbers a doctor tracks about your body, like your weight, height, heart rate, body temperature. They are all just measurements since they just tell you what's happening. In business, metrics might be things like how many people visited your website, how many sales you made, or how long customers stayed on your app. These are all numbers and no incentive or goal is tied to them. However, once a goal or incentive gets tied to a metrics, it becomes a KPI, which is a short form for key performance indicator. So let's say you take a metric and you decide it's so important for the business success that your whole team needs to watch it closely. At that point, that metric becomes a KPI. So for example, imagine you are flying a plane. There are hundreds of sensors on that aircraft. Fuel levels, cabin pressure, wind speed, outside temperature. Those are all metrics. But the pilot isn't staring at them equally. There are 5 to 6 critical readings on that main dashboard that tells them if the plane is flying safely. Those are all KPIs, the ones that really matter to fly the plane safely. So in a business, you might track 50 different metrics, but your leadership team says, we need to focus on these 5 numbers. If these numbers are healthy, we are good. Also, a KPI always has a target or benchmark attached to it. So it's not just like a number, like we got 10,000 visitors. So let's say we have 3 benchmarks called threshold at 9,000, target at 10,000, and max at 12,000. If the visitor count is less than the threshold, that means we are not doing good. If we exceed the max, that means we are doing great. Or we might have set our benchmarks too easy for us. Benchmarks are ever changing. They can go up or down depending on the past performance. But the KPIs are too high level at times. Often they are broken down into operational goals called KPMs, which stands for Key Performance Measure. For example, let's say it's about losing 20 pounds by June. A KPM is how you measure the day-to-day process of getting there. So you worked out 4 times this week, you hit 8,000 steps today, and you ate under 2,000 calories today. Those process measurements are KPMs since they track operational level performance. So basically, one KPI can have multiple KPMs. Similar to KPIs, KPM also have benchmarks which they need to meet. A lot of companies use KPI and KPMs interchangeably, but now you know the real difference. You'll see this term pop up more often in government, healthcare, and education, but in most modern startups and businesses, people just call them KPI and they mean both. Next up, we have OKR. OKR stands for Objectives and Key Results. And unlike others, it's not just a measurement, it's a whole goal setting framework which has 2 parts. So the first part is all about objective. It's about what do you want to achieve. It's usually qualitative, meaning it's not a number, rather it's directional in nature. Something like becoming the most loved app for students. However, part 2 is about key results. These are the measurable checkpoints that prove you actually hit your objective. They answer how you will know you got there. So for that objective, your key results might be reach 50,000 active students user by end of the quarter, or get an app store rating of 4.7 or above, or maybe hit a net promoter score of 60. OKRs are usually set quarterly, and here's the thing, they are supposed to be ambitious. If you hit 100% of your OKRs every single time, some people would say you have set those OKR too easy for you. Aim for about 70% completion. That means you were really actually pushing hard. So here's the quick summary. KPIs are high-level quantitative goals, which are further broken down into quantitative operational goals that are evaluated against set benchmarks. KPIs and KPMs are both indicators of businesses or systems' health. On the other hand, OKRs are full goal-setting system. The simplest way to remember it, your KPI tells you if you are healthy enough to get there, and your metrics are all the data you collect along the way. And that's it. Next time when someone throws these terms around in a meeting, you have got them. If you want more business concepts broken down like this, then subscribe for future videos. And if you are interested in data storytelling, then check out my newsletter at yodis.com.